At 5, the interim superintendent of the state's third largest school district painting a positive picture today. He says the state of DeKalb County education is strong, even as the district considers closing schools and deals with the fallout of criminal allegations against their former leader. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon is live at Cedar Grove High School in Ellenwood. A lot of optimism there today, Doug.
Yeah, there really was, Tracy, and there's a lot to be optimistic about here in DeKalb County, and that is exactly what Dr. Norman Sauce, the interim superintendent of DeKalb County Schools, told his staff and many others here today. But he was also very honest about the fact that in the last couple of months, the district has had a lot to get over, including those alleged criminal charges against his predecessor, as well as the possibility of closing over 24 of their schools.
We're here. We're here.
Interim DeKalb School Superintendent Dr. Norman Sauce III, who inherited the state's third largest school district and the 30th largest in the nation only months ago, reporting good news Wednesday. The district's reading scores, he says, are improving. Teacher vacancies, there were none coming into this year. And new additions to classroom tech, new teaching residencies, and less disciplinary action were all positive signs to report. But Sauce takes over the district from his ousted predecessor, Dr. Devon Horton, who resigned in November after pleading not guilty to 17 felony counts of wire fraud, tax evasion, and embezzlement in connection with an alleged kickback scheme.
Our district is moving forward together. Successfully, we're ascending. We're candid about our challenges in the past, but we have a lot of success and momentum to build on. Folks are excited for meaningful change and continued momentum. I have certainly felt that, and we're just going to keep moving forward together and focusing on what's in front of us.
There's also another looming issue in DeKalb, school closures. The district is currently asking parents and staff to weigh in on possibly shuttering over 20 schools in the district, saying declining student enrollment has rendered them unnecessary.
The best outcome is that we are the most efficient school district we can be for maximum impact on student achievement. And then I've said publicly before, I'll continue to say, we're going to center the humanity of all involved and not make any hasty or rushed decisions.
Yeah, and ending on a good note here today, Dr. Sauce reminded the audience that not only is DeKalb County one of the largest school districts in the entire state, it is also the most diverse. There are 91,000 students and families come from backgrounds spanning 165 different nations. We're in Ellenwood. Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.